Hello, welcome back to the screencast recording for Sprint 4 of Whether or Not. Whether or Not is an application designed to give users commute recommendations based on user-specified preferences and criteria, which is then matched against current and upcoming weather forecasts. In the last sprint, we focused primarily on allowing users to create their preferences profile, which is saved locally. Also, the initial recommendation algorithm was put into place to give users that basic recommendation. We had one primary development goal, that is to make revisions to the navigation system. This allows users to get from one place to another in the application easily. Having such a robust navigation system was a must because it reduced the time necessary for users to, one, learn how to use the application, and to conduct their desired operations when they have learned to use the application. To help us with this goal, we conducted a user study with users from our target demographic. From this study, we learned that the multi-window setup that we have is very difficult to use. The getting recommendations window is not intuitive enough for them to use either, nor is the application as visually appealing as it can be. We believe that involving the users in the development stage goes a long way because they will be the people using the applications, and from their feedback we can adjust our product so it's something that they will use. Consulting with our users, we realized that the sprint required a usability overhaul. To do this, we asked ourselves what changes would we make if we were the users. Because so much of the sprint was spent surveying users, the complete list of desired changes is not fully implemented, but we're in the process of making it happen. Let's see what sort of changes we've made in the demo. Okay, so the first step in our usability overhaul was to create a single window setup. This isn't implemented completely throughout the application. It's currently in a proof of concept phase with our See Locations feature. If you remember from the last sprint, we wanted to give the users the ability to save a location in a list, which the list can then be retrieved, and the user doesn't have to re-enter their location again and again and again to see the weather for that area. So we have that list implemented now. So if you click the button, a list of different locations will pop up, and as you can see, I was using it earlier and I have a few entries in there. So why don't we try adding one to it? This is the location in Delaware. So as you can see, the location changed, and if we hit Save Location, it's added to the list. The feature isn't fully implemented yet, because if you look at See Locations, it's not on the list. To get it within the list, we do have to restart the application. So get out of there, go on NetBeans, wait for it to, there we go. Get that back in there. But if we try again, Dover, Delaware is right there. While the feature is not complete right now, this is something that we intend on completing in Sprint 5. As you can see, you can click on it and it doesn't really do much. We would like to have the ability to click on it and then it would update the weather here in this panel. Alright, so the second part of our usability overhaul was going in and just making sure things looked nicer and made more sense. So one prime example of this is our refresh weather button. Before it was just refresh, and in context it was, what were you trying to refresh, what what did it actually do. So going in, saying refresh weather, making sure the button names made sense. So see location, get recommendation, submit, save location. Another place where we did some major overhaul was the get recommendation page, which we get to bring down into view. And we rearranged some of the top menus. We changed the buttons again, adding more intuitive names, just getting the placement right, and getting this all laid out a little bit better. Before it was a little bit of a mess, and we still have the ability to go in and get recommendation. Just overall is more clean and easier for a user to use. And now time for the code review. Okay, for the code review, the first thing that we're going to look at is the saved location panel. And this is just for the table itself. As you can see, we have variables for the column names, the data, and we go through and we populate the table using data from our SQL database. So we have a connection right there with our search query, and there we have it adding data, and there's the model object. We do have one issue that we're working through, which is something that we're gonna finish up in Sprint 5, is that the data is being displayed incorrectly a little bit. It just, when it is initially formatted, it has a few extra rows. So to work around that, we have a few rows that are hard-coded in there. I think the code's a little bit lower. But that's something that we would like to fix within the next sprint. And the next place that we're going to look is the weather panel, which is here. The big change that we made to this is a little bit lower. In this code block right here, the action listener. And if you look, it's to set a panel visible, the right panel, and that right is actually the saved location panel that we were just looking at. It's this piece of code right here that when you click the See Locations button, that's the thing that allows it to toggle back and forth. Setting that visible lets you see it, and then, clicking the button again gets rid of it. But that action listener is right here, and that's hooked up in our weather controller, which is right here. If we keep going down, you'll be able to take a look, and that's where that good code is. And a few changes were also made as I showed you the newly revised recommendation panel. Instead of, originally we had a middle left and a middle right panel, and instead we have this wonderful, now one unified middle panel, which, looking through in all of its glory. For the upcoming Sprint 5, it's our big, in terms of code and goals, looking forward to Sprint 5, we want to continue our usability overhaul. So if that is making panels like frames like this toggleable, just like the save location, and we would like to beef up our recommendation algorithm and just, keep it going, make it the best app for those users. Thank you.